Welcome back to The Explainer. So picture this. We're sitting around a campfire right now. The embers are glowing, and the woods around us are just pitch black. Today, we're diving into a deeply unsettling, yet honestly fascinating dark folktale drawn from the text The Weight of the Threshold. It's called The Parable of the Anchor and the Mist. But this isn't just your standard spooky story about monsters hiding in the woods. It's actually a really profound exploration of human psychology. It's about a path that doesn't lead forward, but rather terrifyingly leads inward.
Before we really step into the pine dark together, I want you to ask yourself a critical question. What hidden burdens do you carry? Because in this folktale, the geography of the forest acts as a mirror for the collapsing structure of a person's mind. Our protagonist's journey is going to force us to confront the very real, very heavy secrets that we all try to keep hidden in the shadows.
Act 1. Into the Pine Dark.
Okay, so we start off with our main character, who is simply known as the Traveler. Now, this is a man who fundamentally misunderstands the nature of his journey. He mistakenly believes that distance is literally just a matter of feet and inches. So he steps into the unlit wild, casually following a path he describes as a ribbon of ink, completely unaware that the rules of physical geography just don't apply to him anymore. And the text brilliantly illustrates this shift from the physical to the psychological. Just listen to this quote. "The fog did not rise from the ground, it exhaled from the trees." This shroud completely swallows the horizon. The traveler isn't walking through a physical forest anymore, he's experiencing the collapsing of his own mind. The environment is actively responding to him, wrapping him up in a mist where the whole concept of a destination just vanishes.
He's caught in what the text calls a liminal trap. There is literally no there to reach anymore. There's only the terrifying, inescapable here. And in this space, the silence around him actually changes. It stops being just an absence of noise and becomes predatory. It waits in the mist, perfectly still, waiting for the exact moment the traveler realizes he's lost the rhythm of his own heartbeat.
Act 2. Burden of Personal Failure.
Let's look at how this builds into pure, creeping dread. Because right into that predatory silence, something arrives. The unseen monster of our folktale begins to settle into the dark. Meet the Offhawker. And notice the crucial distinction in how it's defined here. In traditional folklore, monsters bite or slash. But the Offhawker, it doesn't strike. It settles. It arrives as this cold weight upon the traveler's shoulders. It's a shapeless malice, completely lacking the mercy of a face. It's really just the heavy, crushing burden of a soul that has wandered way, way too far from its own light.
This comparison perfectly breaks down the true horror of the Offhawker. With every single step the traveler takes, the demon grows heavier. But, as the source text reveals, it's not the physical weight of stone or gravity. It's the weight of knowing. The Offhawker is the literal manifestation of the traveler's psychological burdens. It's made of every secret fear, every exhausted doubt, and the crushing memory of personal failure. It is the inescapable gravity of the words, "I cannot."
And here is the demon's terrifying endgame. The Offhawker doesn't actually want to kill the traveler. Death is too easy. It wants to anchor him. It wants to press his spine toward the frozen earth, turning his stumbling gait into a permanent kneeling posture. It wants to trap him there forever, literally transforming a man into a monument of despair.
Act 3. The Wailing Thresholds. So as this weight presses down on the traveler, the atmosphere gets unbearably heavy. And we need to shift our focus for a second, because the traveler isn't the first person to walk this unlit wild. The mist is actually full of the tragic fate of those who came before him. The text mentions the wailing thresholds, where the voices of those who collapsed still call out from the mist. And why did they lose their way home? Well, they joined the mist because they lost the rhythm of their heartbeat. They completely succumbed to the sheer gravity of "I cannot." They let their hidden failures and their secrets become their anchor. They couldn't carry their psychological weight, and so the Offhawker claimed them.
This is the supreme danger of that predatory silence. For the traveler, and honestly for anyone out in the pine dark, to collapse under the weight of the Offhawker isn't just to die. As the text explicitly states, to collapse is to become another tale. It means losing your very name, losing your identity, and joining the mist and those wailing voices forever. You literally become the darkness.
Act 4. Reaching the Fragile Light. All right, this brings us to the theatrical climax of our story. The traveler is at his absolute breaking point. The text notes that his lungs are burning, the demon is crushing the breath from his chest, and the air around him is incredibly thick, dense with the smell of wet earth and old secrets.
He is literally inches away from becoming just another wailing voice. But then, out of the darkness, a flicker. Just a single flicker of a lantern. He spots a lit window at what feels like the absolute edge of the world. In the collapsing geography of his mind, this tiny light is everything.
That lit window represents the threshold of human civilization. And what I really want you to take away from this is how incredibly fragile that concept is. In the context of this dark folktale, human safety isn't some massive fortress of stone, it's just a fragile circle of light. It's a glowing hearth fire that acts as the only thing holding the massive, ancient shadows at bay.
I absolutely love this line from the source material. He did not run toward it, he dragged the darkness toward it. Just think about the sheer effort required here. The traveler is taking his breathless, final steps, but he cannot leave the heavy shadow of the Offhawker behind. He has to physically drag his failures, his secrets, and his total despair directly into the golden spill of that hearthfire.
And then, boom, we hit the dramatic climax. The exact moment the light touches the traveler's shadow, that crushing weight simply vanishes. The Offhawker dissolves seamlessly back into the mist. Why? Because, as the parable teaches us, malice cannot breathe where there is a witness. Those secrets lose their crushing power the moment they are brought out of the dark and into the light.
Act 5. Carry no secrets.
So, the climax is past. The traveler is safe. He's standing there, shaking in the warmth of the fire, looking back out at the unlit wilderness he just narrowly survived. Let's look at the core lesson we're meant to pull from this campfire tale. The traveler realizes a terrifying truth. Safety is really nothing but a thin, glowing skin. We walk around every day thinking the world is made of solid things, earth and wood, things we can physically touch. But the truth of the threshold is that the world is actually governed by light and by the psychological weight we carry. The physical world, it's just a stage. The real battle is in the mind.
Here is the ultimate, absolute biggest takeaway from our story, directly from the source. If you must walk between the circles of man, carry no secrets, for the Offhawker has no hands to grab you. It only has the weight you give it. The demons we face in the dark, the burdens of failure and doubt, they only have power over us if we hide them. They use our own secrets as the anchor to drag us down.
So, as our campfire begins to fade, I want to leave you with this haunting final thought from the text. When you step outside your own circles of comfort and light, and you carry the heavy, hidden weight of your own failures, do you merely walk through the shadows, or do you belong to them? Think about the secrets you might be anchoring yourself with today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.